Radio Hereford FC, the only station with full match commentaries of the Bulls, every game, every week.
Well, hello and welcome to We're Going Down the Pub with me, Frank Williams, and of course my usual ground guide guru, Mr. Simon Wright.
And fellow supper, hello.
Absolutely, yes indeed. But we're not going to do a ground guide, we're going to do a club guide because it's FA Cup time again.
Yeah, hope it doesn't become a ground guide, but
that's right, yes, we don't want to replay for reasons you will find out later.
Yeah.
But we've said that this season we'll do guides for home games that are cup matches, and amazingly, we've got a home cup match. Yep. I'm so glad it's at home.
Oh, aren't we just? We're so glad.
Hornchurch.
Yes, AFC Hornchurch. We're at home, and it's a big relief thinking where we could have been going.
We could have been going to Hornchurch.
We could have been going to Hornchurch.
That's 193 miles.
It is, that's it.
I mean, you know, that's why we don't want to replay. Do you want 193 miles on a Tuesday night?
No.
I don't think so.
You know, I think Bede should put those numbers 193 up in the dressing room wall as a reminder.
Yes, absolutely.
This is what happens if we don't win.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's worse trips. I mean, Sudbury, I think, is somewhere near Cambridge.
Yeah,
They've got the horrible draw. They've got to go to Truro. 350 miles one way.
That is a horrible.
Oh dear, oh dear.
But even so, Hornchurch, I understand that they're coming up on the Friday.
Yes, well, I'm not really surprised. 192 miles is a long ride. It's hard yakka, isn't it?
Well, it is for a 3 o'clock kick-off.
Yeah, from that part of the world. And their supporters might follow them on Saturday if they can get enough people to fund the coach.
Well, what are their gates like then?
Averaged 179.
Right, okay.
So they're going to need 20% of that gate really to sensibly fund the coach.
Yeah.
So.
But it's probably one of the biggest matches in their recent history, certainly, although as we will find out later, they have played a Hereford incarnation
They
before.
have, and they've had a lot of ups and downs, and we'll get onto that as well. But you know, the first thing I really want to mention is AFC Hornchurch. They're called the Urchins.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the Urchins. I mean, be honest, it's a pretty dreadful.
They
thing,
are
isn't it?
east side of London.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Could be a bit of Faganism coming in.
It is.
Here.
I think so, mate. You just think scruffy, undernourished kids, don't you? And that's not a good image for a football club, is it?
Well, it isn't really, no.
I bet they don't tell their kit manufacturer they're called the Urchins. I mean, they would draw the kit, wouldn't they? I mean, my suspicion, really based on nothing at all, is that Urchins is an official name. You know, a bit like the Throssels at the Albion. Nobody ever uses the word Throssels at the Albion.
Yeah, but other people do.
Oh, well, then because they don't know any better, it's the baggies, isn't it? But anyway, let's not go down that road. Now, I think the Horns, or if you like, the Hornies, is a far better title. An uplifting title, if you like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, but there you go.
They haven't been around very long, though, have they?
12 years.
That's not a long time.
No.
It's 4 times longer than us.
Indeed, and they've been busy, but again, we'll get back to that. They've, the former club had some very dodgy backing.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Some European business, for some reason, were putting money into them, and they chased the dream, to use a cliche, and then to add another cliche, they ended up broke as a result, you know. But the new Hornchurch, they really haven't hung about very much. They've had more action in 12 years than some clubs have had in a lifetime, you know. In those 12 years, they've had 3 promotions, 4 playoff failures and 2 relegations, and that's going some, isn't it? Put another way,
that means then they started in step 5, and they had along the way 3 promotions.
Yep.
So that means they got to step 2.
They got to the Conference South. Didn't last there long.
Right now.
There wasn't administration when it fell into administration.
Oh, so they dropped straight back again.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have, because we've been there and it's horrible. You know, they've dropped back to step 4 these days, but they are very busy people. But you know, with 10 straight wins this season. You know, I think they're on the way up again, you know, particularly as there's 2 automatic promotion places to be gone for in Step 4 now. Now, 8 of their players have played in every one of their League and FA Cup games. This is a very consistent, settled, winning team. It's not going to be easy.
No.
They're based in Upminster, that's where the Hornies are based. It's right on the London border, though it's actually got an Essex postcode. I'm told, I mean, I'm not ever been there, it's an affluent place, much loved by the upper middle class, because there's a very well thought of school in the town and people move there just to get Johnny in the school. And apparently there's also a cheap as it gets train service into central London. Now the downside is they share their ground with an athletics club, so it's one of those unfortunate places that's got a running track around the pitch.
Like Gateshead.
Like Gateshead, like Brighton briefly. Yeah.
And like Edgar Street used to be.
Oh, don't go back that far.
But it's the athletics ground.
Well, it is.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I don't. But of course, the old black and white photographs, the bit that you see, still got the. But it was a cinder track. You know, proper the old cinder track. Now I bet this one's proper.
It is.
Right,
yeah, it is. Now it's not. That doesn't make for good viewing, having a running track, particularly when all the stands around it don't have any rake as such. They're all really low down squats. So that's yet another reason to avoid a replay. No replay, please, no replay. You know, I've said before that they are absolutely full on, this team, and it will be a full on game, and it deserves a decent gate. Come on, guys, come on down, come and see some proper football at Edgar Street, you know. And I imagine the Hornies will, come to have a go at our defence. They're used to winning. They're not used to, putting back 10 behind the goal. And that's going to be quite refreshing. But, we have never lost to a lower division side, as Hereford FC, and we've never lost a home FA Cup game. So
they don't score a lot of goals, though, do they? They sort of win 2-0.
Yeah, 1s and 2s.
2-1, 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're not in our league for goal scoring, but, sometimes my inner child pops out. I was looking at the AFC Hornchurch supporters forum, and there's a Slough supporter popped up with his views, and he said he wanted to tell the world that Hereford are beatable. Well, I thought, okay. Well, we are beatable when we haven't got 11 fit players, like probably any other team in the country, but when AFC come to our place, they're not going to find a team who haven't got 11 fit players. They're going to find a team where virtually every squad member is fit and absolutely busting a gut to get in our team. We are looking good. We really are.
Let's have a little bit now. You say here that their gaffer is quite an interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those football characters by the
and he's got a real footballing name, hasn't he? I like this, Jimmy McFarlane. I love it. That is such a football name. He's got to be a footballer, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's a rough, tough footballer, you would imagine. So he's been around forever, by the look of it. He's played over 1,000 games. He was a big central defender, apparently, and he didn't retire till he was 42 years old. So that does make Greener look very young, sort of spring chicken at 36, doesn't it? So he's got loads of years left, I tell him.
He's been a manager for a while as well, hasn't he?
Jimmy has managed the Horns for 400 odd games now. And if you look at pictures of him, he seems to like the sort of same baggy short style that Bede's like, so it's going to be like two of a kind. And given that they've probably both got London accents, it's very much two of a kind,
Right.
Few quick points about their squad. Their captain, Elliot Styles, that's quite an interesting name by itself. Elliot Styles, yes. But
no, he's not a big footballing name. He's not like Jimmy McFarlane.
No, he
Elliot
isn't.
Styles.
It's a Carnaby Street name, isn't it? Elliot Styles. Anyway, he's played 500 games for AFC Hornchurch, which is pretty impressive, I've got to say. And by day, he's a barrister's clerk. But, this is a London club, isn't it? So you've got to expect that. We need to watch out for Brad Warner. He's a bit of a Johnny Mills, really. New arrival this summer. He scored 34 last season for Bowers and Pitsea, or Pitsea and Bowers, one of the two. Heaven knows. And he's got 6 goals in 6 league games, so he's carrying it on. The Hornies, they've got a full Lebanese international. If you don't get many of those to the pound, do you?
You don't, no.
Sitting in their defence.
No. Well, you do get 11 at a time when they play. Yeah, you don't get them all in English football.
No, you don't. So that's, if you hear the name Jez Choudman, he is a full Lebanese international. He played pro football in Lebanon. I didn't know they got a pro league, but there you go. He played pro in Lebanon for 4 years, and now he works in Canary Wharf, as you do, London club, Now, here's a wonderful question. Who was the world's fastest footballer in 2014?
I don't know.
No, it's not something you spend too much time thinking about.
No.
But it is an interesting pub question, as we're in the pub.
Right.
GPS tracking data, they said Antonio Valencia, which I think he was at West Ham at the time.
Yeah.
But also, they said Matthias Firmino.
Matthias Firmino,
yeah.
Matthias Firmino doesn't ring
Doesn't
a bell.
trip off the tongue, does it? Not exactly that familiar yet. But at that time, he was with West Ham's academy. He did go on to make the first team, but it's like one and out, I'm afraid. But since then, he's moved around without really settling anywhere. This season he's trying out playing with the Horns, and they use him as an impact sub.
Right.
Now, he's that quick, he makes Sid look slow.
If he can take the ball.
with him. Yeah, that's the usual problem, isn't it?
That's all right, tearing down the wing if you've left the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've left the ball with...
Yeah, I mean, one match report I read when he come on, he outpaced his fullback and the second mark. I thought, oh my word. So that's another problem we'll have to look at, Our visitors have 5 goal-scoring forwards, including one Leon McKenzie. Now, that isn't the footballer turned boxer. I mean, that guy's 39 and he packed up football years ago. This is a 32-year-old Leon McKenzie.
Right.
And, yes, very hard to find out much about him. It's an interesting trick here. If you want to be anonymous, have the same name as someone famous, so there'll be absolutely nothing at all on Google.
Absolutely no.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
Yeah,
Well, that's where I'm very unlucky. You see, being Frank Williams,
Yes.
such, people Google me, and they get Formula One entrepreneur.
Oh yes, yes.
And actually, it's an interesting one for you out there, folks. I was a teacher at a school very close to Albion Ground, and during my teaching career as Frank Williams, I actually taught a James Hunt and a Nigel Mansell. So how about that? Yes, I did. Yeah.
Whoa!
Both went to Thomas Telford High School. Mind you, also interestingly, I also taught Wyatt Earp.
Is that a real name?
Yes, and he was one of the...
Parents?
No. The Earp name, the Wyatt in the Earp family, has gone to every generation since the 1700s. They're a family from Walsall, a branch of which emigrated to America in the early 1800s, and he was of the same lineage, and there's been a Wyatt Earp in every generation. He made his money when he left school in the 1980s, running cowboy discos throughout the West Midlands. He had the Wyatt Earp Road Show, interestingly, but that's got nothing to do with Formula One.
No, but
anyway,
fascinating, but there you go.
I'm waiting for the day that a Wyatt Earp turns up in a team around here, because there's bound to be one in every. There's been one in every generation.
There's a few cowboy outfits around here, isn't there?
Oh, he's going to end up playing for Hensford then.
Something like that.
Absolutely
something
right.
like that. I mean, we must mention.
We have played them before.
Hereford United team have played them, certainly.
Not long ago.
No, it was only 4 years ago. I must admit I wasn't there. It was a horrible day, I'm told. It was bad wind, and that was before kick-off. Bad pitch and 2 very nervous teams. Hereford are in a bit of a mess at the moment, financially, injury-wise, and every other area you can think of.
Right.
There is actually one survivor in each team.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Elliot,
hang on.
Yeah.
Let me guess then. It's got to be our Barrister's Clark, hasn't it?
It is. It's Elliot Styles, yes. Yeah. Immaculately coiffured, no doubt. But he didn't last 90 minutes. He was sent off after 50 minutes.
Right, so let me guess now. Yeah. The starter for us has got to be Rob Purdy then, hasn't it? It can only be Rob Purdy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, those who were there and those who spotted looked at the footage I put back up on Facebook recently. 0-0, 93 minutes, and then we pinched it with a cross from Dan Walker, who frankly was offside, let's be honest, and a tap in by Joss O'Keefe, who bust a gut to get to the far post. Right. And Hornchurch was mad as hornets after that goal, not surprisingly. Apparently they were really looking forward to a midweek replay replay at Edgar Street.
What?
Yeah, how times change.
Absolutely.
We want that replay at Edgar Street. We don't care how far it is, but
Well, hopefully there's no need to go into our usual thing about the local pubs and refreshments. 'cause
I
they're
really
coming to
hope
us.
not. Doesn't appear to be much
exactly,
anyway.
No, and if there's a replay, folks, well, I'm sorry, you're not going to get any information about their ground apart from the fact it's got an athletics track around it, and take some binoculars with you, and periscopes if you want to see over. But let's
No, it's not
a
gonna happen,
replay
is it?
does not bear thinking about.
No.
Anyway.
Well, there you go. Quick roundup then.
Absolutely,
Of the
that's-
big game, and get yourself down to Edgar Street. You will
At
enjoy
home.
it.
FA
Yes,
Cup
exactly.
time, which is amazing. It's breaking our sequence of Saturday away games. Last
I'm into
year
that.
we played 8 successive Saturday
remind
away
me.
games because of FA Cup and Vars. And this time we are at home, so at least we're swapping one home match, the Dunchurch game, for another home match, which is great news. Hope to see you all at Edgar Street for this one. Otherwise, you can obviously catch up with the game live on Radio Hereford FC. With myself and Mike Ammons doing that day. So that's a good reason to come and watch the game live, isn't it?
You don't listen to them.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. And we'll catch up with you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening.
Spiffing.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls. Match day live.